Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Put a Ring on It. So, this episode started out with Charlena and Otis meeting up, and Charlena's pretty much just looking like, essentially, that's just the way that she was sitting there looking at me like, okay, what you got to say? Because he came to her and he basically was like, I was wrong for what I was doing and apologized for his behavior with reaching out to Milan and all that stuff and got emotional. And she was here for it, even though she tried to, be strong and very like, oh, okay, I hear you. Let's see if this really is going to be what it is. Because, at first she wasn't taking accountability. Now that he is trying to take accountability. She bringing up the past. She was like, at the beginning of this conversation, you weren't trying to take accountability for nothing. So he done got emotional. She done gave him a piece of a tissue and all of this. I'm like, child, I don't know. In my mind, I'm just like, I'm still, reeling from the Otis that we saw off rip. You are a completely different Otis. Are you just basically saying, let me mimic my daddy? Or are you actually trying to make a change for the better? If you are, kudos, hats off to you. But otherwise, I don't know what's going on. So, anyway, we end up seeing Kenneth and his brother link up. Kenneth over here cooking up some steaks and things. And so, everybody's task was to meet up with family members or at least somebody that's really close to them and discuss their relationship. And, a lot of the times you can get some amazing perspectives from your family members. So, I'm glad that this was a part of their assignment. So he talking to his brother and he's like really close to his brother. And of course he values his brother's opinion. And so we find out that when Kenneth and Shorty get into it, Shorty will call his mama. And so the brother was like, I don't appreciate that. I don't respect that because, at the end of the day, who she think we gonna go up for? It's like, you calling our mama to tell on him because y'all ain't getting along or he won't do something that you want him to do and you think we gonna do what? And so Kenneth got in the confessional and was like, I don't understand what calling my mama gonna do. What you think she gonna whoop me or something? I'm 35 years old. If anything, she might jump up and beat you down. You know what I'm saying? She might come over and beat you down for you over here trying to do what you do. And I'm just like, child. And like the previews that I have been seeing and like the little live moments that I've seen that he said stuff, it is too much going on. Don't none of these people need to be together. Like no more never. I don't know what it is. I just would have never thought that their relationship was so toxic, explosive. What I don't know. It's too much going on. There are so many moving parts. I feel like we aren't even scratching the surface as far as what we're being able to see through the process that we're seeing them go through on this show. But yeah, of course, he was like, he was trying to have small talk with his brother, and his brother, I guess is trying to find a place and plans on moving somewhere in Atlanta or whatever. And so he was like, well, where are things with you and Shorty? And he was like, I'm trying to do things, but she has this way of talking, to me. And, for him to be living for her, basically having a one-sided relationship, I'm like, at this point, why are you holding on? Like, I really need to understand this financial situation. Hopefully when the reunion happens, because I think they do reunions for this show now, when they have the reunion, I'm gonna need for them to explain that because that ain't never gonna sit well with me, and I don't understand what was the point. And then, like, for her to say that, and in the same breath say that he went on like some public forum that was a part of the job that she was working at to like expose her and talk crazy about her and all that. It's like, what? Now I ain't trying to sit up here and cap for her, cape for her or whatever. I'm not trying to do that because a lot of people be like, oh, y'all women love trying to stick up for one another. No, if you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make it seem like she was right and he was wrong. They just don't need to be together. It's just to the point where he don't even know why he's still there. And if the brother were to ask her, what is the purpose of him being there? For your own brother to say he don't even know why he there or how he's still there or does she need him? It's just a lot. I don't understand. Every time you look up, every time I told y'all almost every time, only time y'all see him Without a drink, it seems like it's usually when he's in that house with everybody else talking to Dr. Nicole, and he need to put their drink down and get therapy and be done, and not deal with Shorty and nobody else for quite some time, because something is not right. It's a lot going on. And you know what I'm saying? I'm really hoping that the vibes that I've been getting when it comes to him are not that. Like, he might be the type of dude that he might be small, but he might like snatch her up or something like that and be like, oh, you do this. Whether it's, another level of physical, I'm hoping that that's not it, of a type of abuse. I'm hoping that that's not it, but I'm just saying. And moving right along to another form of abuse that might be going on, alleged abuse, because I'm just saying it's the vibes that he give off. Alfonso and Shay. So Alfonso and Shay are at the house and they talking and they trying to hash stuff out, and she is continuously having an issue with him dealing with his child's mother, and the child mama is the best of friends with his mama, and the mama don't even know what his relationship status is, and she's trying to explain to him like, what is going on? Because if I were to ask my mama, hey mom, when was the last time I told you that I was with him, or when did I tell you that he and I broke up, my mom be able to tell you, oh, you told me this happened a couple of months ago. With him, it's left in the air. And it don't even make no sense, because we find out, I forgot if it happened in this moment or when he was talking to Dr. Nicole, but he sat up here and was with the child's mama. He was with his child's mama. And basically the situation, it just kind of went away. And it was kind of like, oh, well, nobody had a conversation. Nobody did nothing. So in her mind, she still thinks that she has her foot in the door and she has a chance to be with him. Now, I'm just trying to understand what it is when she is seeing that they are together. And I'm guessing it's because she feel like, oh, well, if he ain't say something, then it don't matter. But I'm like, girl, I fought both of y'all, because the baby mama, hopefully that ain't what's going on. But from the accounts that he's giving, it seems like these heifers be having hope. This heifer got hope that they're going to be back together. And I'm like, why? He know that this woman still live for her. And he knows that Shay lives for him. And that's why she done came back already. And it's like, you were strong enough to leave that first time, but you were weak when you went back, because you went back into the same stupidity that you left before. It was trash before. What was the reason to go back? And he always laughing, and he over here talking about, oh, it's a defense mechanism. And I can't with nobody to do that. That's clown behavior, and there's nothing happening that's funny. Like, she really will be sitting there crying, and he'll be laughing. And I'm just like, no. Ain't nobody got time. But yeah, then he gonna ask her, well, what you want me to do? No, you should know what you want to do. You shouldn't have to ask me, what do I want yourself to do? Because you know what you got going on. And she just straight up told him, look, I'm gonna need for you to do what you know you need to do. You're gonna have to do whatever you gotta do, because this your last chance. And so it's like, oh, all of a sudden, now he knows it's serious, because he never thought that she would be like all the way done with him. And I'm like, child, I believe it when I see it, meaning she's gone and she stays gone because she don't need to be with him. From what we've seen, that ain't it. That is not it. That is not love. He ain't here for you. He sees that you're going to be the main heifer and everybody else going to be. And I'm telling y'all, it's probably even worse than the Smoke situation from last season. Probably is. Y'all see who he worked for? Ain't no way he around all that all the time. And he's just like, ooh, let me just go to my room, be by myself. Unless Rick or somebody, in the camp call me and tell me they need me to handle something. I ain't going to do nothing. I ain't going to, test them waters. Yeah, oh, okay. So anyway, we end up seeing Shorty meet up with her mama. And I don't even want to start trying to guess what they are. It is what it is. So, I mean, I don't want to say one thing and it's something else. So, if y'all know what her nationality is, as far as what her mama is, then okay. But yeah, she invited her mama over so they could talk, and there's some type of tea that they make in her culture, and she's never learned how to make it. And so, because when she first said her mama coming over there to help her make tea or teach her how to make tea, I was like, girl, why would you need help with putting a bag in some water or putting a tea leaf? Even because I'm gonna get me some loose leaf. That's what I want to call it, some loose leaf tea. And I have some little strainers over there on my little setup for my little, my teas and things. So I'm just saying, like, I'm like, you don't need nothing for that in order to steep some tea. What is going on here? But anyway, I'm thinking it's something to do with their culture. So anyway, she talking to her mama, wanting to know, what she thinks of Kenneth. And she was like, he seemed cool. He seems like a nice young man, whatever, whatever. But you have said to me that his finances ain't what they need to be. He ain't doing what he need to do. The mama done spilled a little bit of tea talking about last year or whatever, or she gave him a year to get his life together, to get his credit right or whatever, to get his finances and everything in order because she wanted to get a house. And the mama was like, hey, he did nothing during that year. And I was just like, well, excuse me. And so her mama was just like, look, I just don't want you to go another 2-3 years over here doing all this circling the drain if he ain't supposed to be the one you supposed to be with. And you over here just going in circles for no reason. And I said, I know that's right. So anyway, we end up seeing Dr. Nicole and Alfonso talking. And I was like, well, I mean, he basically was saying that people are used to doing stuff a certain way for such a long time that that's what they're used to. People might not be, willing to change or whatever. And his mama used to seeing the baby mama. The dynamic of their relationship is this heifer is talking to his mama every single day. What for? What for? Child, now in my mind, part of me is like, what for? But at the same time, I'm like, okay, what if it's a situation, considering that tomorrow is Mother's Day, does she not have a mother of her own, or was her mama trash? Like, did her mother pass away, or is her mama just out here in these streets and they don't talk, or like, what's going on? Because she has this really close relationship with his mama to the extent of the mama don't acknowledge Shay at all. I mean, that's mainly his fault. And I'm sorry, the fact that he over here sneaking to go on family vacations with this heifer and his whole family, I can't. Like, Shay should have been done then. I would be like, you know what? I have endured some stupidity in my life, but she's a little bit too old to be dealing with this. I'm just saying. Like, she's too much a professional. She should be on a maturity level to where it's like, boy, you done lost your mind. Let me get up out of here once you realize that that's the situation. Because you sitting up here going through messages and all that. My thing is, I have done that before, and only in the last relationship that I was in, and I should have never did that because I never expected to be that type of person. And I will never do that again. Now, I'm just saying, and I mean, it started out innocent because, to make a long story short, he had logged into my laptop that I had at the time, not the one that I have now. I had a laptop, and he ended up logging in, and it was some kind of way our stuff synced. Now, these ain't no Apple products. I don't know how in the world that happened, but he had logged in and logged out, but somehow everything's synced. And so I'm going to my messages, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, I really had a blind moment. Like, am I crazy? And I realized he was having dialogue back and forth with random heifers, sending it off for them. Wasn't sending it off for me, but you're giving all these other people attention. You're doing the least. So that started the chain of events. And right there and there, I should have left because I did contemplate leaving then and going straight back home to Alabama and starting over from scratch if that's what I needed to do. But I said, you know what? He gonna come to his senses within the next few months and realize that I am more than a catch and that ain't nothing out here in these streets but foolishness. But, that didn't happen. I was dumb. I should have went home when I had the chance because I would have been in a completely different situation. And it's all right. It's all right. It's okay. I'm getting where I need to be and where I know I'm supposed to be slowly but surely, but it's all right. I had to learn my lesson the hard way. It is what it is. Some people have to learn the hard way. I learned my lesson. I'm going to need for Shay and everybody else on this show to learn their lesson because these people are toxic and they are not meant to be together. I'm sorry, they're not. I'm so glad she ain't got no kids by him, and hopefully she don't end up pregnant. I'm just like, child, this don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. And in his mind, he feels like, if he can get Shay and the child's mama on the same page, then that will make a big difference because then they won't have to, isolate people away from other people and all this stuff when holidays come around. And everybody could just be like, okay, we can all be together. And I ain't got to just leave her at the house and all this other ignorant stuff. And I'm just like, child. Now, that was interesting. In my relationship, his family lived for me, and I was always at family functions. So, I mean, it was what it was. So, I mean, I usually don't have issues with people's parents and their family members. So, I'm just being myself. But I'm just saying the fact that she could never really be around at the family functions and things, child. I'm talking about even if I didn't want to go, I would go, and I would end up in a lot of cases being glad that I went. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sit up here and try to down talk nothing about that particular part of the situation. Now, if something is what it is, I'm gonna tell you like it is. And I'm not trying to come from a perspective like I'm better than somebody else or whatever. I'm just telling you my experience. And that's why when I see this stuff happening, I'm like, I've been there. That's why I say the stuff that I say when it comes to a lot of these recap reviews on shows like this. I literally have been there. I have been a dummy. And I'm looking at them. I'm looking at a replay of me being a dummy while looking at them. And I'm like, nah, don't do that. Especially when it comes to certain situations. So anyway, we gonna see where that go, but ultimately, I hope that Shay end up leaving him because she gonna sit up here looking like a fool for the rest of her life if she stay with him. I feel like Alfonso is one of those people where he gonna want to settle down. If he does ever want to settle down, he gonna want to settle down for real when he old and gray, and he ain't old and gray. Shay's reproductive years are gonna be long and gone by the time he gonna be really willing to settle down. He gonna be to have some other outside babies and things. Well, not other. He gonna be to have some outside babies on her if she decide to stay and be on again, off again. Like, I don't understand nobody having an on again, off again relationship. That is stupid to me. But hopefully she won't be dumb enough to sit up there and endure that. So then anyway, we end up seeing Shorty going out on a date with Tavy, or whatever his name is again, which that dynamic confuses me, but if they live for it, they here for it. Okay, cool, do what y'all do. Y'all excuse me, had to readjust a little bit. See? All right. Anyway, let me see back, because I don't have my little thing behind me. I need to get it. I might get it when I do the next one. My bad. Excuse me, y'all, because y'all need to understand about the blackness. But anyway, so they talking. And she basically went on ahead and went out on this date so that she could, get away from Kenneth. Because they have apparently been fighting like cats and dogs. It's been really, really bad. And he has a tattoo on his neck. She getting her entire life because she was like, that's my problem now. I like men with tattoos on their neck and all this other stuff. I'm like, child. And I think that she asked him at some point if my relationship was to end, what I'm saying? I'm looking... I think I'm going to try to go out on a third date with you. You know what I'm saying? My man probably going to kick me to the curb after this. So, I mean, what do you think about a real relationship? What you think about marriage and all this other stuff? And he said that, he's open to marriage. He here for it or whatever. And there have been moments in his life where he thought that he was ready for marriage and he was about to get on that knee. He was going to get down on that knee and pop that question, but then some things were revealed about these heifers and then it ain't happened. But he over here trying to make it seem like he would be here for her if that ended up being the situation. And she is very much here for him. So, I mean, it is what it is. Do what you do. I don't know what she see in him. And I don't know what I'm not trying to make it seem like somebody ugly or whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it seems like he's just giving her a lot of attention and maybe that's it. And he's just saying all the right things because these are just a couple of meetings. So it is what it is. So anyway, all of the ladies ended up meeting up and they were talking about their situations. Charlena let everybody know that, they have gotten down to the bottom of a lot of things. He got emotional. Like, she keeps making a point to let everybody know he cried a little bit, child. He cried a little bit, but we gonna see if he gonna keep on making the changes he needs to make. And like everybody basically was telling everybody about what all they had going on. We already know what they got going on. We can fast forward past that. So everybody back at the house talking. So, Shorty was talking about how she went on her... Basically, I didn't even realize this until I saw this episode, I guess because I'm just so over all of these relationships because they are not it. That I didn't realize that only 2 people were going on dates this week, and that was Charlena and Shorty. So they were talking, and they wanted to know what all was going on in their mind, what's all going on. He was just like, look, we went out on a date. This was when he and Shorty went out on a date last time. And, you know, she wanted to talk about their relationship and all the issues they've been having. And he was like, can we just table this so that when we see Dr. Nicole, we can talk about it? And she was like, I mean, Dr. Nicole ain't going to be able to live with us 24/7. So, I mean, we going to have to be able to handle stuff without her. And I know and I understand that, but it's like the way she be talking to him, I'm just like, what is going on? And so ultimately she was like, yeah, my date was great and all of this or whatever. And Otis had the audacity to chime in talking about he don't know if they have the tools necessary in order to make it and all this. Child, why are you even in a relationship? He seems like one of them people that just be out here thotting and barking, so I'm trying to understand what he even in a relationship for. So anyway, we end up seeing Shay and Alfonso. They were talking about the same things that they always talk about, and ultimately trying to make it seem like, you know, he got to do what he got to do. I'm going to be out. And we already saw Charlene and them and all talking about what they was talking about before. Like I said, this is a repeat of everything that has happened before. And so she was talking about how her date went. And Charlene said her date went well and whatever. So then they asked them where they go on a second date. So they said, Shorty ended up saying, yeah, she's going on a third date. And so Dr. Nicole asked him how did he feel about that. He was like, oh, I'm fine with it. You know, basically trying to play it off like he was cool. And then in the confessional, he was just like, yeah, I'm not going to let my emotions get the best of me and all this other stuff or whatever. He was like, you know, I'm going to do whatever I got to do. So it is what it is. And then when they got to Charlena, they going to sit up there and have it where we got to wait until next week. And I'm like, why? Because she basically said that on the way over there, she had one answer. And then after she got there and the process started and they were talking, she changed her mind as to whether or not she wanted a second date. I mean, a third date with this person, or whatever date with whoever this person is, a second date. Because she was like, you know, old dude, she was like, oh, he's athletic. He has a nice body. And then she stopped talking and looked over at Otis. And she was like, oh, you know, it's like she wanted him to be like, ooh, you feel some type of way because I said he fine. Ooh, okay. Is that what it is? Is that what it is, babe? Oh, okay. And he was like, nah, I'm just looking at you and I'm listening. And so she was like, oh, okay. It's like she was waiting. It's like she wanted to rumble or something. But anyway, they're going to wait till next week. And I'm like, child, bye. Anyway, subscribe to my channel. Thumbs up this video. Let's talk about this foolishness down in the comment section.